You know that feeling when you spend weeks babying your little seed trays, checking on them every morning like a nervous parent, and then one day you walk over and everything is either dead, flopping sideways, or looking like it desperately needs a chiropractor? Yeah, that's not bad luck. That's one of 10 very specific, very fixable mistakes that professional growers figured out years ago. And by the end of this video, you'll know every single one of them. So let's get into it. And honestly, number 5 on this list shocked me when I first learned it. Number 1. Using garden soil or potting mix to start your seeds. This one feels so logical that it fools almost everyone. You've got a bag of soil sitting in the garage. You've got seed trays ready to go. Why wouldn't you just scoop some in and plant? Here's the problem. Garden soil inside a small seed starting cell behaves nothing like garden soil in a raised bed outdoors. It compacts. It holds too much water. It blocks oxygen from reaching tiny new roots. And worst of all, that outdoor soil is crawling with fungal spores, bacteria, and weed seeds that absolutely thrive in the warm, moist conditions inside your house. According to the University of California Master Gardener program, outdoor soil is typically too dense for seed starting because water does not drain properly and air cannot reach developing roots. What professionals use instead is a sterile, soilless seed starting mix. It's a completely different product from potting soil. Seed starting mix is made from sphagnum peat moss or coconut coir, perlite, and vermiculite. It's fluffy, lightweight, sterile, and drains fast. The University of New Hampshire Extension even provides a recipe you can mix at home using 4 quarts of shredded peat moss, 4 quarts of fine vermiculite, and 2 tablespoons of ground limestone. And here's one practical detail that trips people up. Seed starting mix is hydrophobic when dry, meaning it actually repels water at first. Always pre-moisten it in a bucket before you fill your containers. You want it at the consistency of a wrung-out sponge before a single seed goes in. But the wrong soil is just the beginning, because the next mistake might be even more counterintuitive. Number 2. Starting your seeds way too early. I know. It feels like getting a head start. January rolls around, the seed catalogs arrive, and you think if I start my tomatoes right now, they'll be massive by spring. More time equals bigger plants equals better garden, right? The exact opposite happens. The University of Maryland Extension warns that starting seeds too early forces growers to hold seedlings back under poor indoor conditions, resulting in tall, weak, spindly plants that perform terribly in the garden. Seedlings that spend 8 to 10 weeks indoors outgrow their containers, become root-bound, exhaust all the nutrients in their tiny cells, and some warm season crops like tomatoes actually start flowering indoors, which reduces your harvest later. The fix is dead simple. Find your local last frost date and count backward. Tomatoes go in 6 to 7 weeks before that date. Peppers and eggplant, 8 weeks. Broccoli and cabbage, 4 to 6 weeks. And cucumbers, squash, and melons? 3 to 4 weeks maximum, because those things grow like they're in a race. Here's the part that blew my mind. According to the UC Master Gardener program, properly hard-off seedlings started on time will catch up to overgrown, early-started transplants within about 2 weeks in the garden. All that extra indoor time gained you nothing. Real sunlight and unlimited root space outdoors do more in 14 days than your windowsill did in 2 months. Speaking of windowsills, that brings us to what might be the single most destructive mistake on this entire list. Number 3. Relying on a sunny window for light. Every beginner does this. You find the sunniest window in your house, set up your seed trays, and assume that's enough. It's not even close. The University of Minnesota Extension says it directly. Windowsill-grown seedlings tend to be too tall with thin, bent stems, and the numbers explain why. A south-facing window in winter delivers roughly 3,000 to 4,000 lux of light on a good day. Direct outdoor sunlight provides 32,000 to 100,000 lux. Your sunny window is giving those seedlings somewhere around 10% of the light they actually need. The result is what gardeners call leggy seedlings. Tall, stretched-out stems bending desperately toward the glass, growing thinner and weaker by the day. And here's what nobody tells beginners: that damage is permanent. Leggy stems don't thicken up later. Leggy tomato seedlings transplanted into the garden produce weaker plants with reduced yields compared to stocky ones grown under proper lighting. Every major extension service recommends supplemental grow lights. The good news is they don't need to be expensive. Even basic LED shop lights work beautifully if you keep them close. Fluorescent tubes should sit 3 to 6 inches above seedling tops. LEDs can go 8 to 12 inches depending on wattage. Run them 14 to 16 hours per day, but give your seedlings at least 8 hours of darkness because they need that rest period for cellular repair. Running lights around the clock actually hurts growth. The critical thing is that your lights need to be adjustable. As seedlings grow taller, you raise the fixture to maintain that gap. A $30 LED grow light setup eliminates the #1 cause of seedling failure. That's probably the best return on investment in all of gardening. But even with perfect light, there's a hidden factor that almost nobody thinks about until it's too late. Number 4. Treating AIR temperature and soil temperature like they're the same thing. Your thermostat says 70 degrees. Your seed trays are sitting on a table near the window, so the soil must be around 70 degrees too, right? Not necessarily. Soil in a basement, garage, or near a cold window can run 10 to 15 degrees cooler than the room, and that difference is enormous. Research from UC Davis shows absolutely wild germination speed differences based on soil temperature. Tomato seeds planted in soil at 50 degrees Fahrenheit take 43 days to sprout. The same seeds in soil at 77 degrees? 6 days. That's a 7 times difference just from temperature. Peppers are similar. 25 days at 59 degrees versus 8 days at 77 degrees. And onion seeds at 32 degrees take 136 days. That's 4.5 months of sitting in cold, damp soil doing nothing. The longer seeds sit wet without germinating, the more vulnerable they are to fungal diseases that will kill them before they ever break the surface. Professional growers use seedling heat mats with thermostatic probes set directly in the soil to maintain optimal temperatures. For warm season vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant, the sweet spot is 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Cool season crops like lettuce, spinach, and broccoli prefer 60 to 75 degrees. And here's a curveball. Lettuce actually refuses to germinate above 85 degrees, so more heat is not always better. The follow-up step that beginners miss is just as important. Once your seedlings emerge, turn off or remove the heat mat. Post-germination, slightly cooler conditions around 65 to 70 degrees during the day and 55 to 60 degrees at night produce stockier, more compact plants. Keeping the heat mat running after sprouts appear, combined with weak light, is the classic recipe for leggy disasters. Now let's talk about the mistake that kills more seedlings than any other. Number 5. Overwatering. And its terrifying consequence, damping off. Garden Betty's Linda Lai calls overwatering the #1 cause of seed and seedling problems, and every extension service agrees. The beginner logic makes total sense. The soil surface looks dry, so you add water. But in those tiny seed-starting cells, the bottom layer often stays saturated while the top dries out. You end up drowning the roots and creating perfect conditions for a fungal nightmare called damping off. Damping off is caused by fungal species including Pythium, Rhizoctonia, and Fusarium. It attacks seedlings right at the soil line, turning healthy stems into thin, water-soaked threads that collapse. One morning your seedlings look fine. The next morning they're flopped over like wet noodles at the base. And according to the Old Farmer's Almanac and the University of Minnesota Extension, once damping off strikes, those seedlings cannot be saved. The only option is prevention. Professional growers almost universally use bottom watering. Instead of pouring water over the top, which splashes fungal spores around and keeps the soil surface wet, They add about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of water to the tray beneath the containers. Capillary action draws moisture upward over 10 to 30 minutes until the surface looks damp. Then they drain all the excess. This keeps the soil surface drier, discourages fungal growth, and actually trains roots to grow downward looking for moisture. The target moisture level is what everyone calls the wrung-out sponge test. The soil should feel damp throughout, but never dripping. If you pick up your tray and it feels lightweight, it's time. Number 6. Planting seeds at the wrong depth. This seems like such a small detail, but it can make or break your entire tray. The universal rule, recommended by the University of Maryland, University of New Hampshire, University of Missouri, and University of Minnesota, is to plant seeds at a depth of twice their diameter. A seed that's 1/8 of an inch wide goes 1/4 inch deep. A bean goes about an inch down. Simple enough. But here's where it gets interesting. A surprising number of flower and herb seeds actually need light to germinate. They have a photoreceptor called phytochrome that detects light exposure, and if you bury them, they simply will not sprout. Petunias, snapdragons, begonias, impatiens, coleus, lettuce, dill, thyme, chamomile, and sweet alyssum all fall into this category. These seeds need to be pressed gently onto the surface of your seed starting mix or covered with the thinnest possible dusting of fine vermiculite. The University of New Hampshire Extension recommends that approach, and Garden Betty offers a useful principle for beginners. It's always better to err on the side of planting too shallow than too deep. You can monitor and adjust moisture on a shallow planted seed. You can't rescue a seed that burned through all its energy trying to push through an inch of soil it was never designed to penetrate. If you're learning something new, hit subscribe. I break down gardening techniques like this every week, so you can skip the trial and error and go straight to what actually works. Now let's get into the mistakes that happen after your seedlings have already sprouted. Number 7. Reaching for the fertilizer too soon. You've got tiny seedlings poking through the soil and they look a little pale, a little slow. Your first instinct is to feed them. Makes sense, right? Babies need food, except seedlings already have food. Seeds contain all the nutrients needed for initial growth stored in their cotyledons, which are those first pair of rounded seed leaves that pop up. North Carolina State Extension says plainly that seedlings do not need fertilizer until their first true leaves appear. True leaves are the second set, the ones that actually look like miniature versions of the mature plant's foliage. Fertilizing before that point can burn fragile new roots, cause salt buildup that blocks water absorption, and kill seedlings within hours. Even after true leaves show up, the University of Missouri Extension warns that young, tender seedlings are easily damaged by too much fertilizer. The professional approach is a slow, careful ramp-up. Wait until at least 2 sets of true leaves have developed, usually 2 to 4 weeks after sprouting. Start with 1/4 of the recommended strength on the label. Move up to half strength only after a couple of feedings with no signs of stress. And never, ever hit seedlings with full-strength fertilizer. Use a diluted liquid feed once a week and plain water in between. And always water your soil before adding fertilizer so the solution doesn't concentrate and scorch the roots. If you see white, crusty buildup forming on the soil surface, that's salt accumulation from over-fertilizing. Back off immediately. Number 8. Planting old seeds and blaming your technique. That packet of tomato seeds from 3 years ago sitting in your junk drawer, it might still work. Those onion seeds from the same era? Probably not. Seed viability varies dramatically by species. According to the University of Illinois Extension, onion, parsley, and leek seeds only remain viable for 1 to 2 years. Tomato, bean, pea, and carrot seeds last 3 to 4 years, and cucumber, radish, and lettuce seeds can stay good for 5 to 6 years under proper storage conditions. But viability and vigor are 2 different things. Old seeds that technically germinate often produce weak seedlings with missing or deformed first leaves that never reach full productivity. They also sprout more slowly, which means they sit in damp soil longer, raising the risk of damping off. The paper towel germination test takes all the guessing out. Place 10 seeds on a damp paper towel, fold it into a plastic bag, keep it at about 68 to 70 degrees, and check after the expected germination window for that crop. If 7 to 9 out of 10 sprout, your seeds are still good. Just sow a few extras to compensate. Below 6 out of 10, buy fresh seed. And for storage, keeping seeds in a sealed glass jar in the refrigerator at below 45 degrees with low humidity can extend their life well beyond those standard windows. Number 9. Forgetting about AIR circulation entirely. This is the overlooked factor that connects several mistakes on this list. Stagnant air around your seed trays promotes fungal disease, keeps the soil surface damp, and produces thin, weak stems that snap in the slightest breeze once they go outdoors. Professional growers run a small, oscillating fan on low speed near their seedling setup, not blasting directly at the trays, just creating gentle air movement in the room. This does two things simultaneously. It keeps the microclimate around the soil surface drier, reducing damping off risk, and it physically stresses the stems just enough to trigger them to grow thicker and sturdier, the same way a tree on a windy hillside develops a stronger trunk than one sheltered in a valley. The Old Farmer's Almanac notes that even brushing seedling tops gently with your hand each day produces measurably stockier stems through this same response. And the moment your seedlings emerge from the soil, remove any humidity dome or plastic wrap covering the tray. Those covers are designed to maintain moisture during germination. Leaving them on after sprouts appear traps warm, stagnant air and rolls out the welcome mat for every fungal pathogen in the room. And finally, the mistake that destroys weeks of perfectly good work right at the finish line. Number 10. Skipping the hardening off process. You've spent weeks nurturing your seedlings under grow lights. They look beautiful, strong stems, healthy leaves, ready to go. So you carry them outside on a warm Saturday morning and plant them straight into the garden. By Monday, they're sunburned, wilted, and half of them are dead. Indoor seedlings live in a spa. Consistent temperature, no wind, filtered light, no UV radiation. The University of New Hampshire Extension explains that these plants lack the thickened cell walls, the developed waxy leaf coating, and the adjusted stomatal behavior that outdoor plants build naturally. Moving them outside without transition is like going from a climate-controlled office into a blizzard without a coat. Hardening off takes 7 to 14 days of gradually increasing outdoor exposure. Days 1 and 2, set them in a sheltered, shady spot for just 1 to 2 hours. Days 3 and 4, give them 3 to 4 hours with some filtered morning sun. Days 5 and 6, work up to 5 or 6 hours with more direct light. By days 7 through 10, they can spend full days outdoors. Only start leaving them overnight once nighttime temperatures reliably stay above 45 degrees for cold-hardy crops or 50 degrees for warm-season plants like tomatoes and peppers. Transplanting on an overcast day or early in the morning reduces shock dramatically. Water them thoroughly a few hours before moving them and again right after planting. And that brings us to the one idea that connects every single mistake on this list. Indoor seed starting is not gardening in miniature. It's a controlled environment growing operation with almost zero margin for error. A garden bed outdoors has billions of soil organisms, unlimited root space, natural light cycles, wind, and drainage. A 72-cell tray under a window has none of those safety nets, but the fix is simpler than you think. A basic grow light, bottom watering, sterile seed starting mix, and a calendar built backward from your last frost date. Master those 4 fundamentals and everything else on this list becomes way less likely to matter because healthy, well-lit, properly timed seedlings can survive the small stuff that kills a weak plant overnight. Subscribe so you don't miss it.